Good evening tonight, everybody, and welcome here for RaceRoom Sunday once more. One of my favourite events of the week. And this week we have two classes actually running out onto the track. They are both of similar pace, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It is the Touring Classics versus the DTMs. And we have 30 cars signed up for the racing tonight. A number of common names that we see every single week, and a few number of new names. And one of the big new names tonight in the Sunday event is Craig Patterson, because Craig Patterson is very big in the automobilista community. On Thursday, he took part in his first RaceRoom events with us at Race Department and his first RaceRoom events full stop. So but he was looking quick actually. He was qualifying quite high up. I never got to the end of the races to see where he finished, but he's just popped across into the server and we shall see him start to put in lap times in qualifying very soon. At the moment on the top of your timing sheet is Christian Moreau. Good evening everybody watching tonight. It's already very active in chat already. Andrew Harper thinks that Craig is very possibly going to win tonight. I see Daniel Chapp is supporting Christian Moreau, obviously our pole sitter so far. Hoping to do the WTCC event on Thursday. Yes, that is one of the many RaceRoom events that we do have. I think we have 3 or 4 now during the weeks that you can take part in. If you do want to take part in those, head over to racedepartment.com. Become a premium member today. It's only $7.50 at the moment, so no money at all, and that's for the entire year. Magnus Sternbury puts in a stellar lap time, putting himself into 6th at the moment, but it is 1.395, so pretty much 1.4 seconds off of Christian Moreau. Here comes Craig Patterson though, currently 18th in session, going his fastest. He crosses the line and moves it to 14th, so Patterson not doing quite well at the moment, but he was just racing on Automobilista actually. He's come across just now. He didn't get any of the practice done like everyone else did, so he's not in a rhythm at the moment. Hopefully we'll see that rhythm develop further on. Looking at Steve Kenwood at the moment. Looking through your order after the first 9 minutes of qualifying, Christian Moreau on pole with a 141.448, and quite close behind is Anders Nilsson in second with a 141.668. And then Andre Almeida, I believe this is one of our first races with him. That's a new name for me in third. Another new name, Dennis Haas in fourth. And Peter Backer sitting in 5th position at the moment. Looking through at some of the new names. So yeah, like I was saying, Andre Almeida, Dennis Haas, Sergio Nunes is rather new to me, I believe. Jarko Niminen, who we're looking at now. I think I've said his name before, but not very often. Obviously, Craig Patterson new to RaceRoom. Rui Vieira sitting in 17th position is rather new. Jack Hintz at the rear of your field. Well, I say rear, 21st. It's certainly not the rear. Another new name for me. I believe that's it. So that's still a number of new names, and I like seeing the new names. So, good evening everyone watching tonight. As it is nice to have you all here. 15 minutes to go in the qualifying session then. So tonight we have a 25-minute qualifying session. Now the reason it's so long compared to normal is Christian Moreau is going even faster on his lap time here. Will it be an improvement on his time so far? 141.448. It's across the line. It's not. It's 0.2 slower. It's losing out in that final sector. Yeah, I was saying it's a 25-minute qualifying session purely because a lot of the AMS community race on RaceRoom, and the AMS race was rather long tonight. So they've been able to set it up so that everyone can come across who wishes to, such as Steve Legale, Craig Patterson, Jazz Forsberg, I believe, also coming across from AMS tonight as well. So that's why we have a longer session than normal in qualifying. We have 15 minutes to go now, but then we have a 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. Now, mandatory pit stops has always created the possibility of anything happening. We've seen drivers go from first to dead last in the entire session in their respective classes. One of the more famous ones from recent events would have been Peter Lee in the multi-class event in his GT3 car. He was leading the GT3 category, went into the pit stops, over a minute in the pit stops because of some issues. with selecting. It's very difficult in RaceRoom. It's very confusing for the new person to a pit stop to be able to do it. And it meant that he actually came out dead last by about 30 seconds to the next car on track. And it was a shame to see him drop from first to last. But sometimes issues happen, and it's going to make racing very interesting. And looking on the chat, there's a number of you already going through. Good evening to everyone. Now, Jazz Forsberg, 26th. Now, that is a surprise to see Jazz actually quite far down. Normally, we see him in the top 10. 26th position, though, not very strong at the moment. It's a 146.853 for him, currently in the garage. So he's going to look to improve that. Still 13 minutes to go. He might get faster by the end. Hopefully he will, because that's almost 5 seconds. That is 5 seconds off of Moreau's time. That is an improvement for Andre Almeida. He now moves up to a 141.855. And between your top 4, it's about 2 tenths between all 4 of them. And then it's a half a second down to Backus. And, oh, there's a change there, because who was that? That must have been, yeah, Christian Moreau going faster with his time at 141.406. Very, very slightly, but it was faster. And it's nice to see there's actually a range of nationalities, a range of different people racing with us tonight once more. Steve Legale going on an improved lap time, currently 29th with a 152.246. I don't think that's at all respective of what Steve can do. We've seen Steve in recent events actually start to get up the order a lot more, and he's been able to get some really good positions as of late, but the past week or two he's actually fallen back down the order and he's starting to race near the back again. I think he may have had a bit too much Red Bull for 2 weeks, and he was able to get up onto the podiums, and this time he's decided to get rid of the Red Bull and he's not going to be able to get onto the podiums. That is an improved lap time, but it's half a second ahead of the next car. The final driver in our session is Mike McGear, but he's yet to actually put in a lap. He is currently out on track, however. We're looking at Christian Moreau at the moment. He ran the overall best in the first and the second sector, coming through the right-hander, coming through the left. And 11 minutes to go in the session. Currently, you got Christian Moreau on pole position. He is running an improved lap at the moment, so it looks like he'll be able to improve that pole time. Last time he was running an improved lap, though, that we was watching him, he actually went slower around the circuit and that final sector. And what we're going to do here is ride on board, but he's going to slow up, so we're not going to be able to ride on board. And instead we're going to run on board with Anders Nilsson as he heads into turn number 1. Now, a very loud engine indeed, and it's probably very hard for you to hear me over the top of the engine. These cars are a lot louder than the DTMs we've been having in the well, actually we did have them last week, yes, at Moscow Speedway. And just a little bit louder, these older engines, and I hope you can hear me absolutely fine. So Anders Nilsson looking to improve on his lap. He's now 3 tenths behind Moreau, as Moreau did go faster before. And just watching his lap, it looks like this is a very untidy lap indeed. It looks like he's sticking to the apex. He's running slightly onto the grass there. And it looks like Nilsson 2 tenths off of Moreau's time in that first sector. Way over the apex. Yeah, definitely looks like Nilsson in his Volvo not going the cleanest that he was probably hoping for on this lap. Continue to go around and through the chicane now. Oh, and slightly over the apex there for Nilsson. Is going to mean this lap time is not to be for him. We're going to get this stuff up there. There we go. Steve Kenworth, though, coming across the line, currently on an improved lap for him. He's 20th at the moment. He's still 20th. It did close up, but there's a whole lot of British drivers sitting in 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Martin Fiala, though, 28th position at the moment. He is about 4 tenths ahead of Steve Legale. He's about 3 tenths behind Magne Sunday, and he's going to look at maybe being able to improve on some positions there. He is up on his personal best in the first and second sector. What will it be when he comes across the line? Is it going to be an improvement? It is. It moves him into 27th position. Oh, actually, it moves him about 7/10 ahead of Sandoy now. So that was about a second improvement for Martin Faela. That's absolutely fantastic improvement. A whole second. Steve Legale also on his personal best through the first and second sector here. And coming through on the right-hander. And coming up towards the line. And it is an improvement, very, very slightly, but it puts him ahead of Sandoy, who now we look at, who improves on his lap time. Yes, he actually does, but only just. And those three at the rear, lap time is very close indeed. Now, we've just got a 31st person enter our server. Now, we have 30 sign-ups, so I'm not too sure why we have a 31st driver heading out onto the track. Who is that? I can't quite see. It's not letting me see the name. I'm not too sure anyway, but quickly check over the chat here. And yeah, sound mixes are good. So I just didn't know how loud the engine was going to be compared to me, because I can't actually hear back how loud I am. So I never quite know. 7 minutes to go in the session. Peter Backus was running his personal best in the first sector, however, couldn't quite improve in the second. He's only just, I mean only just ahead of Craig Pattinson, who has been able to improve on his lap time and move himself into 6th. He's 1 second behind Moreau, and he is only 0.22 seconds behind Peter Backus. So, if he can improve just by a 10th, he can get up into 5th. But 6th position by no means is bad at all. It's the 3rd row of the grid, and at the start of the race, a very long race indeed, 45 minutes. If he can get the pit stops right, I think we'll be absolutely set. This is obviously Craig Patterson's first race with a pit stop in RaceRoom. So this is going to be interesting to see what he can do. Whether he will fall down the order come the stop. Now, in the mandatory stop, what I have been told, as a massive improvement here by Jarko Nemena, moves up to 8th. What I have been told in the mandatory stop is all you have to do is change tyres. That's the only thing you have to do in the pit lane. That's what I've been told. Well, that's what I've been eavesdropping in on anyway. Anders Nilsson actually ran the overall best in the first sector, a personal best in the second, but what can he do in the final sector, and will it be the position into pole past Christian Moreau? And coming through, it's going to be slightly over the apex, really pushing at the moment. I don't think this is going to be the a fast enough lap to put him on pole ahead of Moreau, but it very could be an improvement in his lap time. Crosses our line, and it's not in the end. By only 0.02 of a second, but it's not an improvement for Nilsson there. Mike McGeer is on an improvement. Now, his first lap was a 1:53.7. He's only just, that was his last lap, actually. That was the first time he put in a lap. About 10 minutes into the session. Currently 30th at the moment. Will he be able to improve up that? He is running his personal best, but with that gap, it's not going to get him into any higher position. He is going to be in 30th still. Comes across the line, and it is a 1:49.667. So he is about 7/10 behind Sandoy. So there's this driver here, Magno Sandoy, so it's not going to be improvement there. But a personal best run at the moment for Sandoy means that he very possibly could get back past Steve Legale. Only 0.3 separate them. An amazing second separate Martin Faela and Steve Legale, as Faela goes even faster with his times as he continues to improve. Sandoy, though, comes across the line. Will it improve improvement in his lap time? It won't be. It won't be a 1:47.399. Will not beat the 1:46.998. He currently has Sergio Nunes running through the final corner, currently on his PB. Currently got a 1:43.656. Only a 10th needs to be improved, and he'll get past Steve Kenward, and he has been able to do that. An amazing improvement, in fact. He gained about half a second, which has put him up to 9th. Because looking at these times now, Sergio Nunes a 1:43 flat. It then goes a 1:43.8 is your slowest within that 1 second frame, which separates 11 cars. 12 cars, sorry. Sergio Nunes in 9th, all the way back to Matthew Paparel in 21st. It's very, very tight by all of them, and small improvements can get you up. It's Greg McCall currently on a PB in the first sector. He only needs a 10th to get past Versity. He only needs a 10th, actually, to get past Steve Kenwood as well. And a 10th on his lap time currently would actually get him in contention to get past Calvin White. 1:12.6 into the second sector. What's he going to be able to do on the final sector? Will he be able to move up the order? Coming through the right-hander here. Is it going to be an improvement for Greg McCall? As Steve Kenwood actually moves up to 15th and Tony Versity moves to 16th. It is an improvement up to 10th position for Greg McCall. So that was about a 3/10 improvement there. And it puts him up about 7 positions. So that is exactly what I mean. That midfield, so close that just a few tenths improvement is going to move you up so many positions on the field. And qualifying in 17th and qualifying in 10th, 2 different feelings completely. The top 10 currently for McAuliffe is what he's going to want. Steve Kenwood comes across the line, currently 16th. Will it be an improvement? It will, by about 2 tenths, and it moves him from 16th to 12th. So up 4 positions with just a 2/10 improvement. Craig Patterson running on his fastest lap at the moment, really pushing hard through the chicanes. Now, I looked at the corner names because I want to bring you the corner names again tonight and start to really know the circuits, but I looked at the names of the corners and realised I cannot pronounce any of them, so I gave up on that. Coming through the final corner, though, comes Craig Patterson. Will he be able to improve? He's currently 7th in position. Oh, 7th in session as he runs really wide in the final corner. Is that going to lose him any time? It does. And unfortunately, that's not an improvement as he'll continue to run around. And now through the right-hander, Greg McAuliffe in 10th. Was running his PB in the first sector, not so much in the second. And we are going to go and have a look at our session results from this now with about 1 minute remaining in the session. Christian Moreau on pole position with a 1:41.367. Anders Nilsson in second. Andre Almeida is in third with Dennis Hart in 4th. Magnus Sternberg is in your 5th position spot with Peter Backus, Craig Patterson, Jarko Nemenin, Sergio Nunes and Greg McAuliffe rounding out your top 10. We then had Parginos, Kenwood, Silva, Ole Maris Mirvold, Rui Rivera, Calvin White and Tony Versity. Oh, 1 minute. It continues down. Owen Anderson, Simeon Oleszewski, Ross Garland and Matthew Paparel all within about 8 tenths of each other. It's so close. Actually, no, 6 tenths of each other between 11th and 21st. So close indeed. Nicholas Osterberg in 22nd. Stephen Gibb in 23rd. Jack Hintz 24th with Magnus Forsberg doing really poorly in this session down in 26th. Gregory Fiala, Steve Legale also doing poorly in 29th. Magno Sunday in 30th and 31st was Mike McGear. I believe that new driver, that 31st driver that came into the session was Ole Marius Mirvold. I believe he is the additional surprise driver for tonight's event. Good evening everyone watching here. Today we have just got to the end of the qualification. No seconds remain on our clock. We are at the end of the session and we'll be going across to our 45 minutes race within the next few seconds, and then we will be getting green. 45 minutes is going to be interesting. That's going to be about maybe 30 laps, just shy of 30. Actually, no, not even that many, I'd say. Maybe about 25 laps. But let's get all of this off. There we go. This is going to be interesting. Pit stops are going to mean so much, and I say that every time a mandatory pit stop is involved, because it does. It completely changes the order. It can create battles. It can get rid of battles, and it's, like I keep on saying, it's dropped leaders of classes and leaders of the sessions down to the rear of the field in the pit stops. It's all about how well you do in your pit stops, how well you know your pit stops. And in RaceRoom, it can get confusing. It's also very difficult to see where your pit box is, and we've seen so many people in the past overshoot their pit box. Even a few weeks ago in that multi-class event where Peter Lee dropped down the order, but in that stages, we also saw someone get disqualified for reversing back up the pit lane to get to his pit box. Anyway, the session is about to get going. The race is about to begin. 45 minutes on the clock. The engines are revving. There they go. We are away. Someone in the background did not move off the start, and we had to see a lot of people swerve. They're now in a cloud of dust. It's almost 5 wide about midfield there, and it looks like one of them almost got collected into the wall, but it looks like we are going to be staying clean for the most part. Running side by side to turn number 1. Everyone comes out facing the correct way. They actually have. That's amazing. There's a little bit of contact just further up in the midfield here. There's someone off in the background. I believe that was... I'm actually not too sure who that was. It's just everyone changing positions at the moment. But up front, it's still very close between your two race leaders. Christian Rowe ahead of Anders Nilsson. Craig Patterson has lost out to 7th position here. So he's lost a position since the start of the race. Then we've also got Ole Maros Miraval looking up the order. He started in 14th, already up to P number 11, looking for the inside. And it looks like he's able to hold on to the position ahead of Pedro Silva at the moment. And it looks like it is remaining all clean. I've seen one bit of contact on your opening lap, and that is it. Oh my word, Rui Vieira trying to get past Vangelis Parginos up the inside there, and almost rear-ending him through the left-hander. Can't quite make that move stick though. We've got Alemaros Miravold on the inside of Steve Kenwood. They're going to ride side by side. A little bit of a kick of oversteer from Miravold. He's going to hold the outside, and again, a little bit of much oversteer. There's a big side in the background, and now Carl's trying to avoid him. Somehow, every one of them stays straight as well. As Miravold stays side by side with Kenwood up the inside into the final turn. And Miravold finally makes that move stick. Through the final turn, he's up the position just up ahead though. We got Jarko Minimenon being overtaken by Greg McCalp up to turn number 1 in the background. You can see so many cars on side by side. Tony Versity trying to get past Sergio Nunes. And just behind that, you got Rui Vieira trying to get up the inside of Paparal. Paparal himself goes up the inside of Versity. There's a little bit of contact now. There's wobbling from all of them, and that's absolutely no room for Vieira given to Anderson. Let's straight wide, and there's going to be contact. Oh no! And that is going to be Robin Anderson off the circuit, and that is also going to be Matthew Paparella around with him. They get back on. Paparella immediately gets in battling. A big slide from Ross Garland there, holds it on the outside line. Mario Mirvo looking to gain further up the order, currently into a top 10. He's now behind Menon and McCalp. We're going to get the standings up on the left-hand side where you can see the order. It's still only half a second between the two race leaders. Never normally this at the start then. And we go through the right-hander. Oliveira Smarvold up the inside of Jarko Menon. He makes a move stick. Nano Menon is under attack from Pedro Silva. Silva all over his rear, but he's not able to do it. And Menon is going to remain in that position at the moment. Dennis Hard's also doing a really good job in holding into that top battle as well. The three race leaders still only within a second of each other. Matthew Paparel battling with Nick Gregory here for 20th position. And Paparel goes up the inside, well, looks for the inside and chicane, can't quite do it, but on the exit, he looks like he's going to get the tighter line, a faster exit, can't quite do it, no. Jack Hinton's going rather slowly in front of him, actually, a rather slow exit in his car. There's a change in the lead of your race. Christian Moreau's down a second. Anders Nilsson is up to the lead, but Moreau holds the inside line. Nilsson's going to try his hardest on the outside. They're going to run side by side, and it's going to be the position for Nilsson. And that is going to be Moreau down to second. I believe Moreau is in a DTM and Nilsson is in a Touring Classic. But Nilsson's now off the circuit. Moreau's going to look to get past here. And that's also Dennis Haas trying to get involved just behind. This is the three-way battle for the lead of your race. 5 minutes in. Not something I would expect to say 5 minutes in. Normally, in most of our races, the lead is a battle near the end. Or that's it. There's no other battle any other point for the lead of your race. But here comes Christian Moreau to get back past Nilsson. Can't quite do it at the moment. Haas is behind. Now, Nilsson running off the circuit. I would assume that Moreau could have had the better speed and go past, but he can't now. He looks up the inside through the tight right hand. I can't make a move there at the moment. This is also allowing Armilda and Peter Backus to get involved. Greg Patterson looking to get back up to 6th past Magnus Sternberg, and that's just in the distance. And Magnus Sternberg does a massive stride. Craig Patterson is going to be able to get side by side with him up to the chicane, and he could make a move up to 6th now. Around the outside, he's going to try his hardest, can't quite do it. And maybe look for a better exit. No, he's going to have to stay behind at the moment in 7th, but that's going to be a bad position to be in. If they don't battle though, but the leading 5 do, that could be the position. Looking at Anders Nilsson, will Christian Moreau be able to get a faster run up towards turn number 1? Doesn't look like he is, and at the moment it's going to stay in the order of Nilsson, Moreau, Haas, Armadillo and Backus. In your midfield though, that's still very much a battle to really aid all your wounds of missing out battles in previous races that we've had, because this is amazing. We've got a 5-car battle for the lead. This is about a 6-car battle. So it's sort of eased up a little bit here, but in fact just behind we see Versity getting all kinds of sideways in his car, and he's making it look a lot of fun drifting that touring car around the Zandvoort circuit. He's behind Sergio Nunes, looking to 14th. He's been able to close up the gap. He's right on the rear. Looked to the inside, couldn't quite make the move. He's going to be on that left-hand side, heading up towards the fast right-hander. He's going to have to stay behind for now, and he's going to hold the position. But look at this, he's actually going to be under attack from Rui Vieira, who's been able to make the move on the inside, take advantage of Versity's slight mistake and slight wide. But Versity's able to hold it on the outside line. An amazing hold around the outside of Rui Vieira there, and he's going to remain ahead of Vieira somehow. Just up ahead, you see the 3 cars going pretty much 3 wide into the left-hander. That's Barginos chasing down Kenwood, Nemenon, and Silver's a little bit away ahead. So it's really now Kenwood right on the rear of Nemenon, looking to find a way through into the chicane. Can't quite do anything at the moment. 4th position has dropped off to 3rd by about 2 seconds. That gap has increased quite a lot, and Peter Backus probably won't be too happy with that. Almeida though, probably happy that he's holding on to 4th at the moment, and he's doing a nice job at doing that. Nick Gregory is behind quite a good battle between Roy Magnus and Matthew Paparel, looking at that. But we are going to go and look from the rear wing of Anders Nilsson, and that is your podium right here. Nilsson being chased by Moreau and by Hartz as we come through. Come down to the bottom end of the circuit, talking about the RD GTC, the tracks that will be used in the season. I am not allowed to say to you, but they will be announced very shortly indeed. Steve Kenwood on the rear of Jacques Nemenon, still in that battle for P number 11. There's also that battle just up ahead between Silva and Mekau for P number 9. There's battles all over this field. It's actually fantastic to see that there's so many battles, and you will always have that in touring cars. They're made to be in close proximity to everyone. In 10 minutes in, we've still got the race leaders within a quarter of a second of each other at most points on the circuit. It's absolutely fantastic to see that we do have some really close racing. This is the leaders then coming through the chicane. Look how close they are. It's going to be interesting though when drivers make their mandatory stop. I believe they'll probably try and do it as late into the pit window as they possibly can. I believe the pit window opens at 30 minutes remaining and closes at 15 minutes remaining, which gives them 15 minutes to pit. Now, if I was, for example, Moreau, I'd go for as late as possible and try to jump with the fresher tyres come the end, but Nilsson might be able to pull a big enough gap if he pits early on fresh tyres that Moreau just has nothing to attack with by the time he comes onto the tyre change. This is the battle for P number 4 though. Peter Backus is on the inside of Almeida here. They're going to run side by side. Backus is going to be on the inside line though. Almeida on the outside line. There's a little bit of contact, but it's all good because Backus is going to hold on the outside line. They're giving each other enough space. A little bit of a slide down. A huge tank sapper from Magnus Sternberg behind. Craig Patterson is now looking in front and sees 3 cars all within his reach, up to 4th position. Craig Patterson could move up to 4th, but this is Peter Backus trying to get that position for himself at the moment past Andre Almeida. Can't quite do it, and now 4 cars have got involved in this battle for number 4. Peter Backus, a bit of oversteer by the look of it, moving to the very inside of the circuit. He's now not only got to look ahead towards Andre Almeida, he's got to look behind to Magnus Sternberg, because he's now got to be attacking and defending at the same time. He moves to the inside, nope, he moves back to the racing line, and a big wobble from Sternberg as he slides across to the racing line, almost off of the circuit. That's going to allow Craig Patterson to now get right over the rear, might be able to make a move through here. The gap is closing as they head down under the brakes now into the chicane. This is the view from Craig Patterson. You can just see ahead of him. You can see that he is going to be looking. We can't actually see the wheel because I forgot to turn it back on from when I was racing on Thursday, so I do apologise for that. But it's still very close between these 4. Even more cars have been highlighted green now. This is absolutely crazy. Like, everyone is close to someone, and I just don't know who to watch. Matthew Paparel is side by side with Roy Magnus. Paparel on the inside of Magnus. Magnus is going to be the inside on the left, and Paparel tries to get the switch back, trying to get the inside line, but it's very difficult to do that through the corner if you just don't have... If you're too close, you just don't have enough time to switch it back, but if you're too far back, then you don't have to run on through the corner. So it is going to be Paparel behind at the moment. Rui Rivera is going to be side by side with Tony Versti, and that's Sergio Nunes just up ahead. And oh my God, Vieira is actually going to be able to make both positions, past Versti and past Nunes, and he's up to P number 14. What a move! Pit stop window has opened, which means it opened after just 10 minutes of this race. So that's good to see. The driver now coming into the pit lanes. I don't know how long it's going to be open for then. Whether it's going to be open for half an hour and it's going to close with about 15 minutes to go. But look at that big battle behind. Sergio Nunes really defending from Versity. Off the circuit, back on again. No positions lost. A little bit of time lost. But I don't think he's going to be too upset about that, because he has been able to hold on to the position. Really well done as well. But really good driving to be able to hold that being forced off the circuit like that. Good Patterson, no, is now going to be able to get Magnus Sternberg. Sternberg just ran off the circuit. Patterson looks to the inside line. He's going to try it. He's got the overlap, but here comes Magnus Sternberg to hold it. They leave each other just enough room. A little bit of a slide from Sternberg gives Craig Patterson the better exit. He's also got the inside line now into the penultimate turn, and Craig Patterson moves up into P number 6 past Magnus Sternberg. The battle for P number 2 though. Christian Moreau is down to 3rd. Dennis Haas is up to 2nd. But here comes Moreau, looks back up the inside, decides not to do it. He's going to stay behind at the moment. And he's going to stay extremely close to the rear of Dennis Haas. In fact, he moves to the right hand side once again to look, and that is a driver off. That's Peter Backus off at the hairpin. So that moves Craig Patterson up to 5th and Magnus Sternberg back into 6th. Jarko Nemanen is pulled over at the side of the circuit, opposite your pit lane. He's going now once again. Driver's moving out of the way for him to get onto the circuit, so some issues there. Christian Moreau is going to get back past Dennis Haas. This has allowed Anders Nilsson to pull away in the lead of your race at the moment, though. It's not what Moreau would have wanted when he qualified on pole. He's going to have to look to get on the inside of Dennis Haas. He doesn't. He stays behind at the moment. A little bit of oversteer from Dennis, and whoa! That must have been a very scary moment for Christian Moreau. Dennis Haas is stopped on the side of the circuit, and that's good news for Craig Patterson because he's moving on to 4. He's back in again. That looked like it tapped out of the game for Dennis. That's definitely what it looks like, but he almost took Christian Moreau out. Luckily for Moreau, he didn't. Craig Patterson now on the rear of Magnus Sternberg once more, because he did lose that position just then to Sternberg. So he's back down to P5. He's slightly off the circuit as well. That's not what he's going to want, with Peter Backus behind as well. Peter Backus obviously was ahead on the track beforehand, so he's slightly faster than Patterson, but will he be able to catch up and make the move through? That's going to be the interesting thing to see. Craig Patterson in 5th though. He will be looking to get back past Magnus Sternberg back into 4th. I'm not too sure whether he will be able to do it or not as they come into turn number 1. And now the The gaps down in the midfield are still relatively close. Rivera, after making a move past Nunes and past Versti, is now on the inside of Vangelis Parginos into turn number 1. Bit too far back to make that move stick, though. A little bit of a wobble from Parginos, maybe a little bit of contact between them as well. Rivera is all over the rim. It's going to be piling the pressure onto Vangelis Parginos. Moves to the inside with the space that just wasn't there, forcing the door open. We saw him do that earlier on as well up the positions. Rivera is a very aggressive driver indeed. Now, touring cars, obviously you can have that contact, but on race department, you really shouldn't have that contact. You shouldn't be forcing doors open that aren't there. I mean, everyone does it. It can be a mistake, just a little bit of late braking, but that's the second or even third time I think I've seen Rivera make a move like that. Vangelis Parginos not going to be too happy with a move like that, and he looks already back up the inside to make the move, and very close to contact. I think there may have even been contact. Rivera leaving absolutely no room for Parginos on the inside. Now it's Sergio Nunes through, and Parginos down below. He did go really adventurous on that overtake though, and I don't think it really was Rivera's fault. I think Parginos just tried a bit too hard on that one. Craig Patterson about half a second behind Magnus Sternberg. He's still looking to pull up and get past the driver in front. Peter Backus, only about 8/10 behind, will still be looking to move up as well. That gap between Patterson and Sternberg closing down along the straight as they head up towards turn number 1. Tony Versity is on the rear of Calvin White, and he sits in 17th position at the moment. We do have a couple of people out of this race, and I'm trying to figure out who it is. It's Nicholas Osterberg and Mike McGeer to drive us out of this race. Tony Versity, though, on the inside of Vangelis Parginos. Sorry, on the inside of Calvin White. So White on the outside, going to try the switch back, but he turned in just a bit too early, but he's going to have that line anyway. No, he doesn't. First, he goes defensive there. I believe Parginos now into your pit lane. Yes, he comes out now. As you see, Roy Magnus on side by side. Just behind, actually, Ovin Anderson running side by side with Matthew Pepperell, trying to get up into the top 20. Couldn't quite do that, unfortunately, for him. That 3-way tie at the moment for P number 4. Very close to becoming a 5-way tie as Dennis Haas catches up once more in P number 7. As Dennis obviously looks like he's tabbed out of the game, but he's racing around again now. Stephen Gibb rather close to Roy Magnus in a battle for P number 18. Currently, Parginos, the only one of our drivers, I believe, to do a mandatory pit stop. Anyway, the only one of our drivers in the top 26 to have currently done their mandatory pit stop. I think that was because of him coming off the circuit. He wanted to get in immediately, put on some fresh tyres, and just try to push on for faster lap times and see what he can gain. Now then, Peter Backus is right on the rear of Craig Patterson. Almost contact as Patterson was going into the pit lane. Backus almost rear-ended him into the pits. Trying to get as much slipstream as possible, but a very dangerous move as we skip back towards Peter Backus then. I want to look at Craig Patterson. How long will his pit stop be? He's going to be in there, and he's out. It's not too long, but it looks like he may have accidentally stalled the engine a little bit there. Getting back onto the circuit only just as the dotted lines come out, almost over that solid white line. Craig Patterson coming out in 15th position at the moment, but it's not green. Craig Patterson's son, your pit stop did not count. It has not been counted as the mandatory stop. He has not done what is needed for him. As you can see on the left-hand side, currently only Parginos is pit stop is green. Roy Magnus on the outside of Jack Hintz. It's going to become the inside of the left-hander. It's going to be on the outside again. Hintz running to the very limit. So is Magnus. Both of them running so fast. Now Magnus onto the grass. Able to hold it on the outside, but Hintz is going to get the faster line on the inside to be able to attack back through the right-hander. But no, it's going to be Jack Hintz down the position and Roy Magnus up. Really, he just put all his balls into that one basket there to make the move. And what a move it was, only just holding onto the grass there. So very, very close to losing it out. As we look at Peter Backus running in 5th at the moment. as he's about a second down from Magnus Sternberg, and we're hoping to close that up. But Dennis Haas is being able to catch up behind, only 6/10 behind Peter Backus, so very close there. 3 cars all in close proximity for 17th. That's why Magnus just had Jack Hinton, who's obviously only just been overtaking. A little bit of a wobble has slowed him down a little bit. Steve Gibb just behind. Quite know where to go in that one. Craig Patterson, I don't know when he's going to realise that he needs to do another pit stop, and I don't know when we'll see him in once more, but he's not going to be happy. He's back into your pit lane. Craig Patterson is into your pit lane for a second time. He dropped from 5th to 15th. This time he is going to drop from 15th. Currently in 23rd, he's going to come out in 23rd, this time crossing the solid white line, but coming out in 23rd, and this time it is green. Craig Patterson's second pit stop counts towards his mandatory stop, but he's going to be kicking himself for that, and it is his first race with a pit stop, like I was saying before, and it's very easy to make a mistake. The RaceRoom pit stop is very difficult to understand. So it's a real shame for him. But Dennis Haas not going to get past Peter Backus. Sits to the inside into chicane. Can't quite do it. And is going to have to sit behind for now. But he's definitely faster than Backus. He's been able to catch up hand over fist. But it's not always about your speed overall. It's about your racecraft and your skill as a whole. And that's what we're going to see now. Does Haas have the skill to be able to make an overtake? We did not see it earlier on. We saw him make a move along Moreau, along the straight. We didn't really see too much racecraft in that move. Will we be able to now? I'm not too sure. He's on the inside. Can't quite do it, but there's a big side just in front of him. A tap onto the brakes goes Haas. And he's going to have to increase the gap between himself and Peter Backus. Now into the pit lane comes your race leader, Anders Nilsson. It places Christian Moreau back into the lead of your motor race. Anders Nilsson in P number 11 as he comes out of the pit lane. And it is green. That pit stop did count. Unfortunately for Patterson, his did not. So he is, I think he's out of contention for any sort of decent position. It's all about learning from this moment on in the rest of the race. Vangelis Farginis on the outside of Matthew Paparal into turn number 1. Coming out your pits there was Tony Versity. Farginos has already done his pit stop. None of the drivers around him have. That is a lie, actually, because Craig Patterson is only 5 seconds behind him, and he has done his pit stops. It's going to be interesting whether Craig will be able to catch up to Farginos relatively easily and be able to make that move through. We're going to look at this move for P number 3 at the moment. Peter Backus going to hold his racing line. Dennis Haas goes to the inside. Can't quite do it. Going to have to back out just a little bit. And he's going to go for the switchback. He's far enough to do it, but no. But he goes for the better exit. A little bit of oversteer from Peter Backus going to allow Dennis Haas to get right onto the rear. Can he get a faster run through the final 2 turns? It's going to be interesting if he is able to do it or not. Dennis Haas is behind Peter Backus, looking for the 3rd position in your race at the moment. Both stay out. No, they don't. Dennis Haas dives into your pit lane. And we're riding on board with Dennis Haas as he comes into the pit. You can see so many drivers are in. It's pretty much the halfway point in your race. 45 minutes was the length of this race. Engine off for Dennis Haas. Refueling is on. Tyres are being changed. And engine back on for him. Engine is a go. A big slide from Dennis Haas there. Exit of the pit lane. He comes out in P number 9. So not a bad pit stop at all. Christian Moreau in P number 3. He's also done his pit stop now. Race leader Peter Backus and 2nd position Ole Marius Miravold, who's only just ahead of Moreau on circuit, have not done their stops as of yet. Neither have McAuliffe or Vieira, who sit in 4th or 5th. Most drivers are now heading down your pit lane at this midway point in your race. As they head along through your right-hander, now through the left-hander. Christian Moreau only about half a second behind Ole. He's been able to catch up quite a bit here. We're going to ride on board with Moreau towards Ole Marius Miravold just in front. Now into the chicane. 21 minutes to go in your race. We've had about 25 minutes of racing already gone. A little bit of a slide from Mirabeau. Will they come down the pit lane now? Will we see Backus and Mirabeau decide to jump into the pit lane? Because Christian Moreau at the moment is just being held up by Mirabeau, because Mirabeau is going to be on older tyres. Moreau's only just made his stop. He's going to be on lovely, fresh, spanking new tyres. That was Peter Backus into the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. It was Peter Backus into the pit. So now Mirabeau into the lead. Christian Moreau looks to the inside. The fresh tyres definitely going to get the more predominant grip on the exit. And through he goes. Ole Marius Mirabeau down to second. Peter Backus still in third at the moment as he's coming out of the pit lane. Through goes Nilsson. Now, we saw Nilsson in the lead of your race before, remember, and then Moreau was able to take the lead in your pit stop stages. That is because we've seen a mistake from Anders Nilsson, and I was saying this before, we've seen drivers go from first to last in the pit stop stages. Luckily for Nilsson, it's not first to last, but it is going to be first to a net second position, and it's about 13.5 seconds between them, and I don't think he's going to be able to pull that to close that gap. Christian Moreau qualified on pole. When he lost down to third, luckily he was able to hold it together actually and keep on to second, as there were mistakes being made around him, and there was mistakes obviously, well, it wasn't a mistake from Dennis Haas, but it looked like his game tabbed out, which meant that he dropped out of that battle, almost taking Moreau with him. But luckily Moreau was able to keep it out of that war, and he's now been able to take the lead in your pit stop stages. An absolute veteran on RaceRoom, of course. The Canadian driver leading the session at the moment. We've got so many drivers still running around, if I'm looking at it correctly. Matthew Pepperell in your pits, I believe. No, Matthew Pepperell is out. So we have 27 of the 31 starters still racing, which is still really good to see. Only 4 retirements so far. Magnus Sternberg still on the way of Greg McAuliffe, looking to get up the order. And I'm just going to scan to find Craig Patterson after all of the pit stops. He is back up to 15th. That's where he was after his first stop, obviously the one that did not count in the mandatory as a mandatory pit stop. But he is into 15th once more, and maybe make a move up the order and get back into the top 10. I think that's what we'll be hoping. Ross Garland still to make a pit stop from 10th. We've also got Mirabeau jet to make a pit stop from 2nd. But here comes Sternberg to look into 7th, past Sergio Nunes, and he's going to be on the inside. Around the outside, sorry. No, that's Magnus Sternberg to get past Greg McAuliffe for 6th. And that's Greg McAuliffe holding on to the position. They're going to run side by side continuously. Magnus Sternberg is going to hold on the left-hand side. It's going to be the outside. Can't quite do it at the moment. The car's just wobbling around so much. It is going to be Greg McAuliffe on fresher tyres, because Magnus Sternberg was our first stopper, and he stopped about 20 minutes into the race. No, about 15 minutes into the race, in fact. So he pitted about 10 minutes before most of these drivers. That's about 7 or 8. No, that's about 4 or 5 laps. Or I don't know why I said 7 or 8. That'd be 20 minutes. About 4 or 5 laps before most of these drivers. Maybe even 6 or 7. I'm not too sure though. But Magnus Sternberg is on much worn tyres compared to the cars around him, because he pitted the earliest, and that's going to really come as a hindrance at the end of the race. But at the moment, this is a 6-car battle. Parginas leading Nimenen, leading Versity, leading Patterson, leading Kedman, leading Silver, because Patterson's been able to gain up 2 positions since we last talked about him only a couple of minutes ago. That's Patterson in the grey BMW, just behind this yellow and black car, so he's going to be looking to gain up many positions as possible here. And this is the battle for 10th. This is the battle that Patterson wants to be in. He wants to get back into the top 10 for sure, and he is very close to it. Versity's going to lose a little bit of time there, tapping the rear end of Jarko Nimenen, sits in 11th. Patterson, though, is going to look for the inside, can't quite do anything at the moment. The 6-car battle, it is rather close to Ross Garland, who sits in 9th as well, but Garland is actually yet to make a stop. So once he makes a stop, this will be a battle for 9th, which means Craig Patterson is in the net 12th. And here comes Garland into your pit lane. It was also a mistake from the Menon. Versity pulls completely out. It's going to allow Craig Patterson through. Patterson gains 4 positions. Yeah, 4 positions, I believe, in that one straight, because he's now into a top 10. Absolute fact. No, it's 3 positions. He was in 13th. He's just pulled it up to 10th. Great stuff for him, and he's only half a second behind Vangelis Parginos now. Will he be able to get up into ninth? The gap ahead of that is rather large, but we'll still yet to see Miravold in. So once Miravold picks, this could be a battle for P number 8 overall. So it's going to be interesting to see whether it is going to remain that close in this battle as they continue down at the bottom end of your circuit. Now, Craig Patterson is now only 3/10 of a second behind Parginos. Dennis Hans also really close to Magnus Sternberg to move up the order there. They're just a few corners ahead of that battle for P number 9. This is a battle for P number 7. Sternberg just ahead of Haas. He goes defensive. Haas moves to the left-hand side of the circuit. Going to be on the outside line, but he goes to the racing line as much as he possibly can. Very close to the rear of Sternberg, hoping that Sternberg gets a compromised exit. He does slightly. Little bit of understeer, leads to oversteer as he gets the collects onto the grass. Great Patterson, very, very close behind Parginos, and he gets a nudge from Tony Versity behind, a little bit of a wobble, and that's going to be Steve Kenwood slightly wide as well, as those 5 cars still very, very close indeed. It's amazing, this 5-car battle coming in through the final corner now. This is the 5-car battle for P number 9. And it is going to be Vangelis Parginos leading Patterson, leading Versity, ahead of Kenwood and Pedro Silva rounds out your 5-car battle here. Rui Vieira just behind. Now, Slot dropped off a little bit just behind. But by no means is it going to lose the battle. But Silva tries up the inside of Kenwood. There's a little bit of contact. And actually, that has increased the gap. Now, Craig Patterson goes for the outside of Vangelis Parginos. See if he can hold it. It's going to be the inside. Parginos leaves almost no room. Patterson's going to have to force to back out. It's going to allow Tony Versity to get involved. Can't quite do that. And now Patterson is behind Vangelis Parginos in that battle for P number 9. They come through the left-hander. This 3-car battle doing very, very well indeed at the moment because it was a 5-car battle. But Steve Kenwood and definitely Pedro Silva dropping off the rear with their skedaddle through turn number 1. Craig Patterson, though, is going to be looking ahead of him. He's also going to have to look into the mirrors with Tony Versity so close behind. Both of them running slightly wide onto the grass. I think there was a little bit of a nudge between them as well. Craig Patterson holding correcting the oversteer through the right-hander. Now the left-hander coming along just and straight. It looks like he is going to be closing the time between himself and Parginos. He gets the better run down towards the chicane. It's a very, very close battle indeed, and I don't know who's going to come out on top with just 13 minutes to go. We're yet to see Miravold into the pits, and I believe your pit window is going to close in 3 minutes' time, so he's going to have to get in, but he's one of those drivers that are going to go for the latest pit stop possible. I was saying at the beginning of the race, and that very much could benefit him come at the end because he'll be on the freshest tyres out of all of them by about 10 laps, actually. That's how much further Miravold has gone on his set of tyres. Craig Patterson, though, very, very close to the rear of Parginos, but Versity looks to the inside of him. He's unable to get the move past Parginos, but now on the exit, he gets a faster one. This time he goes for the other side. He's the inside at the moment. Can't quite do it. And he's going to have to stay behind. And here comes Versity up the inside once more. But Patterson's going to get the faster exit. And once again getting involved is Kenwood and Silva just behind. They've been able to catch up now with how much these cars are battling. They're just snaking through at the moment around the Zandvoort circuit. It's absolutely wonderful. Patterson's still looking to get up into P number 9 though. He's about 2 tenths behind. He's on a slightly wider line. Tony Versity just behind, looking to make the move past Patterson, and Patterson's going to he's having such a hard job at the moment because he's looking to get past Parginos, but he's having to pay so much attention to the mirrors to see what Tony Versity is doing. A little bit of a wobble from Craig Patterson. It's kind of moved him to the inside line. Can't quite do it. Tries to get back onto the racing line as much as possible. Who's going to get the faster exit? It's not Versity who gets some oversteer. There's a tiny little bit of a tap between Patterson and Parginos, and there's a big contact. Both of them are off. No. Patterson collecting Parginos, reverses to allow Parginos to turn around. And they're going to get back onto the track, but they're down in 14th and 15th. Ah, that's horrible to see. Greg McCaffrey battling with Magnus Sternberg and Dennis Haas here. This is a 3-car battle for P number 6 that is going on at the moment. Nice to see that still 27 cars are running, so we've only had 4 retirements in the 34 minutes of racing so far. We had those 4 retirements within the first half of the race. That's a big start from behind. Magnus Sternberg on the outside line. Dennis Haas going to try to the inside, but Sternberg making his car as wide as humanly possible. Somehow holds that position, holds 7th. As we do see Ole Maris Miervold is down to 5th, so I believe he's made his pit stop, and he's actually gained maybe like 1 or 2 positions, which doesn't sound a lot, but that is so much since the pit stops. Ole Maris has actually gained about 20 seconds in the pit stop stages with a really late stop. And with fresh tyres, only 6 seconds behind Bacchus, only, 10 seconds behind 3rd position. He's only 10 seconds behind a podium. Ole Maris Miervold very possibly could get a podium here, which would be absolutely fantastic. Bear in mind, he started from 14th, I believe it was, on the grid, which is fantastic indeed. That was Sternberg running slightly wrong into the chicane, and that's allowed Dennis Haas to really close up. And sort of allowed allowed Greg McCall to pull a little bit of a gap just up ahead. Not too much of a gap, but a little bit of a gap indeed. Continue to run along now onto the main straight. And the gaps between the drivers are very, very close in this battle for P number 6. All 3 separated by just a second at the moment, coming through turn number 1. Just these cars are sliding so much as they really start to wear these tyres down again. Greg McCall is going to be trying his hardest to hold ahead of Magnus Sternberg and Dennis Haas. Now I believe that's back markers coming into play just up ahead for these guys. So that's going to hold a whole new factor of whether the back markers move out of the way and how well these drivers can lose as little time as possible getting around the blue flagged cars. They come now down at the bottom end of your circuit. Coming through your right-hander, Christian Moreau still leads your race at the moment, and that's by about 11.5 seconds to Anders Nielsen, who has been able to close up about 3 seconds since Christian Moreau made his stop. But I don't think it's just not going to be enough, because he made his stop about 14 minutes ago, and he's only been able to close up 3 seconds, so I don't think he's going to be able to close up the remaining 11 seconds unless Moreau makes a mistake. Here comes Magnus Sternberg to go on the outside line of Greg McCall into the chicane. He brakes later. McCall brakes a lot earlier. The side-by-side, there's someone off into the gravel, but at least he stays in the gravel, stays out of the way. What an overtake by Magnus Sternberg up to P number 6. McCall now down to P7, and now he's under attack from Dennis Haas in this 3-car battle for P number 6. What an overtake indeed for Sternberg, really able to hold it in. I think McCall backs out a little bit too early into the chicane, but absolutely fantastic stuff at the moment. And now to move to the right-hand side. And that's going to be defending from McCall because he's got Dennis Haas all over the rear of him at the moment. And that's going to be a back marker getting right off of the circuit, doing perfectly. But unfortunately, that was also the racing line, so the driver's having to turn it in a little bit tighter than usual. But here comes Dennis Haas up the inside, but no, he's a little bit too far back. But McCall able to hold on to that at the moment in P7. He's still quite close to Magnus Sternberg, but that gap is opening, and I think Sternberg may have been being held up in that battle for P number 6. Now he's been able to pull away, like get out of that battle and get in front. He's been able to pull away quite easily. So the gap's increased to about a second between them now, but here comes Dennis Haas. He's going to be on the outside line, has to drop just behind. Brakes a little bit earlier, the gap increasing just that little bit. Now moves to the outside. Greg McCall running as defensive as possible. Dennis Haas going to run a tighter line maybe. No, not quite. A big slide just up ahead. Magnus Sternberg is really wearing those tyres down. Big, huge slide. He's off the circuit, in fact. Like I was saying, Sternberg, the first to pit. His tyres must be dead by now. So he's not going to be able to pull away as easy as I once thought ahead of Greg McCall, Dennis Haas, because his tyres are going to be absolutely shot. Definitely compared to the 2 cars behind him. Haas almost looking like he can move past McCall midway through that chicane. Couldn't quite do it. Magnus Sternberg is getting so much oversteer with his dead tyres. He's not going to like it. The rear end is kicking out so much more than he would hope for when you're trying to hold on to a nice position in the race. up towards the line now. Magnus Sternbury about 9 tenths ahead of Greg McCall. How close, well, how much will he be able to hold that? 6 minutes to go. That'll be about 4 or 5 more laps. Depends on where Moreau is on circuit. But Greg McCall is ahead of Dennis Haas and is trying his hardest to hold on to that position. It's very close though, and here comes Haas up the inside once more. But once again, not close enough. Magnus Sternbury being held up by this back marker in the Nissan. And I believe that's Nick Gregory. Gregory is just completely ignoring blue flags here. It is Gregory who is ignoring blue flags. He's got 3 cars who are... Now, Sternbury's had to make the move on the outside because Nick Gregory has completely ignored blue flags and is just getting in the way of these battles and these drivers. He stays on the racing line. Finally, he actually moves out of the racing line. I don't know what he was doing trying to battle with Magnus Sternbury. He may have thought he was faster, but he wasn't. He was getting blue flagged. Magnus Sternbury was all over his rear and he just gave him no room. A huge dive from Sternbury just up ahead. Somehow Greg McCall is still holding on to 7th, but he's still got Haas right behind. Haas moves to the inside line. McCall holds it nicely, and Haas just had to hold on there for him. Looking at your order at the moment, Craig Patterson has been able to move back up to 14, but it's a real shame. Vangelis Parginos has retired and is our 5th retirement on the race. 26 cars still remaining with 5 minutes to go. Patterson still running around the track in 14th at the moment. This is the battle that we're watching at the moment as Gregory, I don't know what he's doing in the background there, running off the circuit, but this is the battle for P number 7 that we've been watching for the past about 5-6 minutes now, because Greg McCall, Dennis Haas, they're really fighting at it, and Magnus Sternbury, we can't say that he's pulled away yet because his tyres are so dead. Bearing in mind he pitted about 5 minutes after the window opened, which was about now half an hour ago, maybe even more than that now. Thinking about it, the pit stop window opened at 35 minutes. He pitted at 30 minutes. So about 22 minutes he's been 27 minutes he's been racing on those tyres. Most of the other cars have only been racing on their tyres for about 20 minutes. 7 minutes can mean quite a lot because that is about 4 or 5 extra laps. And that's all we've got left in this race. So his tyres really a shock compared to everyone else's, and no one else will have to run on the amount of wear that he currently is racing on. Dennis Haas, though, running in 8th position, still trying to chase down Greg McCall. And in fact, we're going to go run on board here. He's right behind. He moves to the left-hand side. Is he going to be able to make the line stick right as we run on board? No, he's not. And McCall is able to hold the outside line. Dennis Haas has to sit into 8th position at the moment. And into the penultimate turn here in this battle for P number 7. We're going to stay on board with Haas as he runs through the final corner. The gap was increasing slightly, and it's going to increase more because that's a lot of grass being taken by Dennis. But no, it closes up again. Slipstream being used, slipstream being used, slipstream being used. Under braking now. Who's going to get back into the better line through turn number 1? It's definitely Dennis. It looks like Dennis has got the superior grip over Greg. Coming through the right-hander now. And very close indeed. McCall going as defensive as possible. Haas looked for a switchback but tried it too early. Midway through the corner where McCall was still on the racing line. A little bit of a wobble on the exit of the turn there meant that Haas is going to drop off the rear ever so slightly. We are now running on board with Greg McCall looking back towards Dennis Haas. And you see he just closes up. He's not quite able to make the move through. As with about a minute and 50 to go, we are going to go off board because here comes Haas around the outside. He's not going to be able to do that. It's really difficult to make the line stick around the outside there because it's such a longer line through the corner and you lose so much time and speed. There's going to be Greg McCall still in P number 7 at the moment. Christian Moreau is leading still, but only by 9 seconds. Like I said, it wasn't going to close up enough for Moreau to be challenged for the lead of your race, but since those pit stops, Nilsson has been trying his hardest to catch up back to Christian Moreau and take back the lead that he did have before the pit stop stages. Unfortunately, can't quite do it. But here comes Dennis Haas up the inside into the penultimate corner. Can't quite do it. Has to stick behind. Surely this is going to be an overtake with 1 minute to go in your race. I believe we have one more lap afterwards. So 2 more laps. They're going to be run side by side. Greg McCaffrey's going to be holding it. I'm just going to see where Moreau is. It is going to be with 53 seconds. Surely it's going to be an additional lap after this. I'm not too sure though. But around the outside goes Haas. Can't quite do it. A bit of a slide goes Dennis Haas. Goes Greg McCall. Holds onto the position. And here goes Haas, trying his hardest to get up the inside. And now coming through, Greg McCall and Dennis Haas battling hard. 30 seconds to go. We're going to go have a little look at Christian Moreau because I think this is going to be the final lap. Back marker jumps off of the racing circuit. I don't know why he decided to jump off like that, but there's absolutely nowhere for you to move out of the way to boo flags through the chicane. But deciding to jump into the gravel, probably not the most ideal situation. But Christian Moreau qualified on pole, and then he lost it down to second, down to third. Issues for drivers around him, got him back into second, and then an issue in the pit stop got him into the lead. Across the line, is that going to be checkered? As they come across the line, it is. The time runs out just before Christian Moreau across the line, and he takes the win. But we're going to go back and watch this battle for P number 7. How's it going to end? It's the final lap of the race. Dennis Haas moves to the left-hand side. Greg McCall's going to be on the inside. Last time McCall was on the inside, he lost the position to Magnus Turnbull. He's going to be there again, and on the final lap of the race, Dennis Haas finally makes the move through up to P number 7. Greg McCall can't quite hold it in there in P number 8. So unfortunately, after about 10 laps of trying to hold that position, he loses it down to 8 on the final lap of the race. And I had that in a Zandvoort race yesterday where we were battling for the entire race, and on the final lap I finally made the move through. So I know exactly like how it feels to make that move on the final lap. Unfortunately, Greg McCall, he's the one that loses it out on the final lap. We've still got a few battles going around. I believe these drivers have actually finished, so I don't think we have got too many drivers still heading around. We've got Calvin White chasing down Rui Vieira. This driver here though, Craig Patterson, 2 pit stops and a crash, and he's still hanging in there. 13th position to come across the line. Not probably what he was hoping for, but a very strong result, bearing in mind he did have to make 2 pit stops, and he had that incident as well with Vangelis Paginos where he lost a lot of time. 26 drivers finished our race. The final driver being Nick Gregory, our only driver a lap down. No, our only driver who had a gap of more than a lap to the car in front of him, I believe. Or was the only driver a lap down? Might have been, I'm not too sure. Anyway, your results: Christian Moreau won your race, and Nilsson came in second in the end, with Almeida in third, Peter Backus in fourth, and Marius Mirvold able to finish in fifth, amazingly, with that result. Magnus Turnbull finished in sixth, Haas getting seventh at the very end, McCall in eighth. Silva finished July race in ninth, with Kenwood in 10th, Vieira in 11th, White 12th, Craig Patterson finishing in 13th, holding it together for the end. Menon finished in 14th, Bertstedt in 15th, followed by Magnus, Forsberg, Hintz, Anderson, Steve Legale, News, Gibb, Sandoy, Biela, and then Nick Gregory. Yes, your only driver off the lead, I believe. No, quite a number of drivers off your lead lap there. It's just very confusing, this. Anyway, your retirements: Ross Garland right near the end, Paginos, Paparel, Ozo, McGear, and Osterberg. That was very hard to get all of those names in at the very end, but luckily we were able to. I hope you have enjoyed that race then. There were battles throughout. It was absolutely fantastic racing throughout. I hope you have enjoyed that. This Sunday events, they are absolutely my favourite, and I can't wait for the next one. So thank you very much for joining me here once more. We do have a few American streams this race, so if you're from the other side of the pond and you are watching these a bit earlier for your liking, during this week we'll have some at about 2 o'clock GMT time in the morning, so we will be getting the American races stream. So if you want to watch some of those, or if you want to join in the races and be featured on the stream, be sure to come across to the American club events that will be running this week. Thank you very much though for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed. Be sure to like the video and hit that thumb, and also be sure to subscribe if you have not already done so. Thank you very much for joining us here today, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.